My name is Monika Koszyńska. I'm working at the POLIN Museum of the History of Polish Jews in Warsaw. I'm responsible for programs dedicated to teachers, but that was my honor to be involved in the creation of the educational programming of this museum 9 years ago. And now we are, let's say, huge, very active institution in the field of education about the human rights, anti-discriminatory education, and education for human and democratic values. So I will tell you a little bit about what we are doing right now. And this is a continuous project that we are doing since 2012, in fact, 2013. I will start from our mission because I think this is the basis for everything what we are doing. We are really in a place when we have to remember that we have something very important to do. First of all, we have to remind about our past, about the past of Warsaw, about the past of the Jewish minority living here in Warsaw before and during the war. And we want to do this in a most active way, to engage people from all possible places to work with us and to have fun with us. Because we are, what is very important, we are not the Holocaust Museum. We are presenting 1,000 years of the Jewish presence on the Polish soil. So the Holocaust is, of course, the most important part of it, which is the most difficult part of it. But besides the Holocaust, we have 800 years of Jewish presence. And to understand the Holocaust and to understand the void that came after the Holocaust, you have to know this past that was constructing the vibrant life of the Jewish minority in Poland. So that's our mission and vision. We want to be critical, accessible, and collaborative. Since 2020, we are lucky to have financial support from something what is called Norwegian grants. And thanks to those grants, we are able to do many things for many of our guests, of our participants, of people who are interested in the Polish Jewish history. In those 5 years, we are working, realizing this grant. And the most important for us is, of course, exhibitions, our temporary exhibitions and core exhibition. That is our main tool that we are using in any educational activity, in any activity that engaging our audience. Of course, education as such, online resources. We know very well, and it was proven during the last 2 years, that online resources are the most important to be able to communicate with our audiences. Of course, collections, because we are the museum and we are still collecting objects, objects that are like physical objects and virtual objects as well. We have a whole office dedicated to research. We have scientists working with us in our museum who are supporting any kind of activity we are providing. And of course, the digitalization of our objects. We have a base that is called the base of Judaica, which shows all of our objects in internet in a free dimensions. And of course, we want to develop our audiences. We want more and more people to come to the museum, to come physically and virtually. And 4 pillars of our strategy is the audience, that is on the first place always. something what is very important for any institution to exist is a financial stability, and our management and organizational structure and culture, and digitalization and infrastructure. You know how fast the technology is developing. That's why our very modern museum, very modern 10 years ago, is now old-fashioned. So we have to change many things very often. So this is one of our goals, to be able to do it. Of course, we need to have means for it, financial means, and you know that this is something that is very, very expensive. And what is very important in my point of view as a worker at this museum is that we have really very democratic structure. Inside of the museum, everybody is equal. We call each other by first name, with our directors, with our deputies, with everybody. And we have very active the body that is called Rada Pracownicza, the Council of Workers, that really develops the kind of culture that seems to be working, because many people want to come and work with us. And the program I'm talking about is called Jewish Cultural Heritage. This program covers now years 2021-2024, but first we had a first grant from Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway, and this grant was from 2013 up till 2017. And now this new project, what is very important to mention, that this is predefined project. We are not taking anybody's money. This money was from the very beginning addressed to our museum by the governments of Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway. And because this whole event you invited me for is dedicated to the activization of citizens, of young citizens, this is our main focus. In fact, we want to have our audience present at the museum and discuss with us and talk with us and change us and have a cooperation with us. And this is what we are doing for What Money. And now we have the second edition. This is a huge, as you can see, this is a huge support, but this support, it's only a part of our budget, because we are a joint venture initiative. We are run by three bodies. One is the municipality of Warsaw. The second one is the Association of Jewish Historical Institute, and the third one is the Ministry of Culture. And our institutions that we are cooperating with, that are very important in that matter, because those are the people who are working with young people as well. This is like Falstad Center. This is a center that is situated in the north part of Norway. Former war prisoner camp that is now the Center for Intercultural Multicultural Education. The Norwegian Center for Holocaust and Minority Studies, and the European Wergeland Center. This is kind of agency for European Union in Norway. Very, very good institution with whom we are doing very interesting project involving young people. I will tell you more about it, because this project is very, in my opinion, it's one of the most important projects we are doing. The project is a cooperation between two countries, Poland and Norway. We are enrolling young people from high schools to take part in a cooperation with the young people from Norwegian high schools. And the theme is building democracy. And One of the meetings during this project is held on Utoya Island. I'm sure you are aware of this name. This is the name of the island where Breivik killed young people a few years ago. And we are cooperating with them. We are bringing young people to this island to discuss what we can do to be able to avoid such situations to happen in the future. How we can build the democratic culture among young people who will be then future leaders. This is the program that is ongoing for more than a year. And during it, there is a meeting at Utoya, but there are other activities. Students are working together virtually, they are meeting in person. And this is something what is really, really important in our point of view. I was involved in the first edition of this project. I was with students at Utoya, and I was working with them here in Poland. And I must say that it was very, very impressive to watch how wise young people are. And I think they give the hope for the future, really. As I said about the goals previously, I will tell you more about our target groups. School students and teachers are the most important from many reasons. Some of them are obvious, like there is no student who will come to our museum without the teacher. So the teachers are the ones who are in our real focus. Some of the young people are coming with their families, and we have special center dedicated to the family education. But most of the activities are run during the school year and during the school hours. That means students are coming to our museum. And of course, as I said previously, the teachers who are specialists, who are the ones we want to listen to, because we want to know what they need to be able to achieve what they need. And of course, local communities, the people who are living around us, the people, we are in the district of Warsaw, named before the war Muranów. And this district is our target. Many activities are really addressed to the citizens of Muranów. We are inviting them every summer for the special activities, and during the year we are sending invitation for many different activities that we are providing for those who live nearby. And marginalized groups. What I mean by marginalized groups, of course, we have students and adults who don't have the same access to education, to culture as others because of their economic situation. So part of the grant is directly provided for those people to make them come to our museum. They don't have to pay for it, and we are trying to give them as many materials and as many tools to explore and to develop themselves. As you can see, we have very ambitious goals. We want to achieve 5,000 to 500,000 events for over the million participants in Poland and Norway, and 5 million internet user sessions. And I must tell you something interesting what happened, because at the very beginning, when we started to realize this grant, we didn't think, of course, about the pandemic, because nobody knew about that. But because of the pandemic, we have much more viewers and much more participants than previously. And people who are attending our activities online are really very satisfied about the fact that this is online. because not everybody can come to Warsaw, not everybody can really make the time to be in Warsaw and take part in our activities. Being online is much easier. And I know this as somebody who works with the teachers. We have completely new teachers group working with us right now since the pandemic started. And main programs that we are doing are the programs for teachers, schools, marginalized groups, specialists, and the Daffodil campaign. And I want to say more about that because Daffodil campaign, I think it's one of the most successful campaigns we did so far, and we will be doing in the future. Because when we started exactly 10 years ago, this year was the 10th edition of Daffodil campaign. Not many people, especially in Poland, knew that Warsaw Ghetto Uprising was first before the Warsaw Uprising, more than a year earlier. And in fact, that was the first armed opposition, armed uprising during the Second World War in whole Europe. So now, when we have thousands and thousands of schools, libraries, houses of culture, and different institutions working with us, people know about that. And they know what this daffodil means. They know that we are celebrating the anniversary, next anniversary of, in fact, great tragedy, but the tragedy that was kind of foundation for creation of a new state, the state of Israel. Programs for local communities, I mentioned before, public programs. Public programs are dedicated to everybody, but many of them are dedicated. You can see it on the slide on the right corner. There is a picture of something that we called Łąka Leśmiana, the playground of background of Leśmian. Leśmian was a very famous Polish writer and the poet. And this kind of activities mostly dedicated to young people. The mural that is behind on the picture is a mural that was somehow the authors of the murals are the young people, the teenagers who had such imagination that they thought about how it will look like, and we used the local artists to paint it, in fact, and young people were helping them. And programs for multipliers. Any institution has to have multipliers, otherwise they will die. I'm sorry, but you need to have somebody who will be after you. And we have those multipliers in each voivodeship, in each part of Poland. We have them in the groups of teachers. We have them in the groups of librarians. We have them in many different bodies, in a cultural houses, with whom we are cooperating with our project called Museum on Wheels. This is a project that we run for a few years already, very successful one. And this is like grassroots project, in fact, because before we are coming with our small car and the small part of our exhibit to provide activities, cultural, educational activities for local communities, in which before the war there was Jewish minority living. We are contacting the local leaders of the civil society, who are our partners, and they are coordinating this kind of events connected with the visit of Museum on Wheels. And we have been in many places in Poland. We were doing exhibits, we were doing workshops for students, we're presenting our objects and films and other productions that are that we are authors of. And what the most important in it is that we want to do it as modern, using as modern technologies as possible. So we are using internet, we are using different kind of film productions for students. Very often we are using comic books as a part of the film productions. And for instance, when the pandemic started, 2 weeks after pandemic started, we had our own radio channel. It was called Radio POLIN, and it was operating for 1.5 year. So we are trying to be up to date, really up to date. And I will show you as the end of my presentation. I will try to show you the short movie that is a kind of summary of the year 2021. We'll see if I will be able to do it with sound. One moment. Sound. And here is the link. I hope it will work. Before I will start, I will change it into the English subtitle. Tak. Chwileczkę, momencik. Teraz. Widzi pan, nie chce się zatrzymać. Moment.
Stację i wtedy włączyć.
Nie słyszał mnie pan, a ja pana.
To znaczy, ja słyszałem tylko muzykę, bo chyba działało...
Bo ten film jest bez słowa jednego.
No właśnie, ale myśmy widzieli, że to ten... Nie ma go gdzieś na YouTube albo coś?
Jest na YouTubie, tylko że to jest wewnętrzny kanał, to nie jest chyba publiczny. Ja panu prześlę. Prześlę no panu link do tego.
Dobra, no bo możemy później to obejrzeć.
So, if you have any questions.
Okay, are there any questions, people? Are there any questions? Okay, maybe I will have one question, okay, for sure. Do you have any like activities that are focused mostly and mainly on volunteering?
Sure.
Because you said a little bit about it, but let's say volunteering for young people. If I was like, let's say 17 or 16, could I go to your place and could I like ask if I could be volunteer? Yes, okay,
yeah.
I can.
We have a special office for volunteers. The biggest event for volunteers is a daffodil campaign. We are then preparing usually around 1,000 of volunteers to go to the streets and distribute daffodils, but they have to be prepared for that. So they have lectures, they have meetings with survivors, they have a kind of psychological preparation. This is one event, but we are doing events every single day. And almost every single day, we need volunteers for that. So students who are registered as our volunteers are taking part in different kind of activities. For instance, we are doing concerts, we are doing film screening, we are doing educational activities like dedicated to youngsters, like drama theater. So then we need volunteers. And the second part of involving young people is special projects dedicated to young people. So we are then, when we have such projects like, for instance, last year we had a project for teenagers who wanted to develop their writing skills. So they had we had an announcement about enrollment to the project run by Mikołaj Grünberg, who was teaching how to write the short forms, literal forms, and how to then edit them and make them public for their colleagues. We are doing films for youngsters. Then we are involving young people to take part as in those films. But mostly volunteers are for us the main power that we are using in our activities. That are really like, we have them at least like once a day. There is something that is public and we need volunteers for. Like, I don't know if you are aware that it was before yesterday, there was a Polish-American Day at POLIN Museum. And our volunteers, young people, were working together with us to organize all of that and to help the institutions who were coming to present themselves. We will have a charity, like a benefit concert dedicated to Ukrainian kids in June. And this concert will be dedicated to Ukrainian kids, in fact. So we will need volunteers to help us in organizational stuff on that. So This is it.
Okay, thank you very much. So any other questions? Okay, so there are no questions right now. Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
So,
you can send this video. We will watch it later. Okay, and
I will send you some materials that you can watch that are with English subtitles, because we have plenty of them.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can send it on Zoom, I think. Yes, links. It will be the easiest.
Yeah, I can send it by chat, or I can send it via email to you.
By chat right now will be easier. Okay.
But this meeting is finished almost. So if I will have enough time to do it, I will do it, of course.
Okay. So maybe because there is this time limit. So, bo to jest tak, ja na poście przełączę. Jeżeli nam pani wyśle to teraz tutaj, to my możemy to odtworzyć, ale potem zniknie.
No właśnie. Więc lepiej chyba panu mailem wysłać.
To lepiej mailem, no.
To spotkanie jest właśnie nagrywane.
Ono jest nagrywane, więc czat wam się też nagra.
Na moim komputerze właśnie.
No to dobra, no to można na czacie. Dobra. Okej. Byśmy to obejrzeli i ten.
Dobra.
I byłoby super.
Dobrze. Tak zrobię. Zaraz wszystko powysyłam, tylko ponieważ pozamykałam sobie rzeczy, żeby tutaj nie było miliona rzeczy na ekranie, to muszę teraz to z powrotem otworzyć. Ale otworzę i zaraz wyślę linki. Program edukacyjny. Ja wam wyślę po prostu jednego linka do całej bazy materiałów edukacyjnych. I tam sobie możecie wybrać, co będziecie chcieli. Tam są bardzo fajne filmy, takie animowane. Mnóstwo różnych rzeczy. Właśnie poszło.
Jest, ja sobie to otworzę.
On sobie to ściągnie na pulpit i wybierze, co będziecie chcieli. I tam można w ustawieniach w większości można ustawić inny język.
Super. Okej, teraz widzę. Dobrze. Okej. Właśnie coś tutaj się z tym ekranem nam dzieje. Dobrze. No to jakby, jeżeli nie ma tutaj od nas pytań, no to jakby ja mogę powiedzieć dziękuję bardzo.
Powodzenia życzę.
Dziękuję bardzo. Thank you very much. Okay, aplauz dla everybody.
Do widzenia.